Is it time? Is it time? Is it fucking Welcome to the Broski Doodles podcast, the best podcast in all the land. It's heard in all of America, in all of Europe, in all of Oceania. That's where Australia is. That's where New Zealand is. That's where those islands that are near there that they don't let those people go into Australia. They consider them immigrants. And then they say, you know, the white people are bad. It's crazy over there. But they listen to this shit too. And we consider all continents to be equal. Not in size and geography, but equal like in the eyes of God. Today we got very special people joining me, Tavo. You know, the manliest motherfucker, the silver fox. This is the guy you don't want to leave your wives or girls around. I mean, he does have that vibe. He has that big dick energy. He does have that spreader attitude, if you will. Of course, we got DJ BJ, the best fucking DJ in the darker lands. If you're ever in a party where things are getting weird, where people are, you know, look scared and you might want to get out of there, look at the DJ booth. My boy might be there, fucking making the shit sound, making the sounds in your head go crazy, making that acid kick in, you fucking drug addict. Today we got really interesting topics, and I got some, you know, I mean, we got the crew here. I mean, Fear is not here, you know, so we're gonna rant on him and shit on him if we can at one point. But yeah, we're here laughy, but we got actually some serious topics that are delicate, and we wanna try to be as delicate as we can, but being real, because these are topics that need to be debated, even by stupid people, because we need to find ways of finding a middle point in this whole thing, especially with such horrific things that have been happening in the US, but that have happened everywhere in the world. And we're talking about shootings, and we're talking about guns, and we're talking about fire weapons. The very things that allowed different nations to conquer and fucking grow, and in some cases do dynasties that might have helped who we are today, but that also caused damage, death, and misery to many people. And we're gonna talk about the dynamics of that. We've spoken about this a little bit on a previous episode with Tavo as well, and we're gonna get deeper into it today. So talk to me, guys.
What up, though, KIKO?
I want to start on the thing that I think we might want to really clarify is, I mean, are you for guns? Are you not for guns? I guess really what we're talking about is, what is the system that we want to have in our society that people can use to obtain guns, right? Because at the end of a lot of the topics in the right or the left, the conservative, the liberals, is where is that line that we're going to, you know, use, and what is the filter that we're going to use for some of these things, right? Like if you want to get healthcare or you want to get government help, what is the filter we're going to use, and who can use it and who can't? And I think that's where we at the end is where we need to find that line. And with guns, I know it's very cliche, but I find myself to be in the middle. And the reason why I say that is, I think that you should be able to get a revolver. You should be able to get a shotgun and defend your family. I really do believe that the fire weapon is the equalizer of men. And back in the day, if there was a bigger guy that wanted to beat the shit out of you, kill you, and then take your family, you were fucked. But now if you have a weapon to defend yourself, that equalizes you in the world. And I think that is actually a good thing. However, I don't know if we really need to have automatic weapons, right? Like rifles and shit. And people tell you like, yeah, but then, so if the government... I mean, when I say that voice, I am sort of being like patronizing those people. So I won't do that. But there's an argument that is like, okay, but if you want the government to not allow you to have rifles, and only the government has those rifles, right? Only the government has the best weapons, then they can take over and fuck you up at any time, right? But if you use that argument, then that means that you should also be for being able to have a tank, being able to have a bazooka. Because at the end of the day, the government is gonna have things that you cannot have. So that argument, I mean, I'm bringing arguments that people say and see if we can, you know, take them down or see if they prevail. And I'm bringing them from both sides. And I want to know what your stance is generally with guns, and then we can dive deeper with those sort of myths. But the first one is that I think that you should be able to have guns, not all guns. It should be like a graduation. Bill Burr, comedian, said that like when you want to fly a helicopter or even planes, you start by learning how to fly the little one. And then when you have enough hours, then you can now fly the bigger one. And then if you get enough hours, then now you can... And it should be like that with guns as well. If you want to have a fucking AK-47, then you would have to have gone through so many cycles of, you know, getting to. It's not like this kid that did the horrific shooting. And when I say this, it could be any shooting, right? Because they happen all the time, so it doesn't even matter which one it is. But he was very young, and he was able to buy an automatic weapon. It's like, I don't think you need an AK-47 to protect your family. I think with a revolver or a shotgun, that should be enough. So I want to know your stance, and what do you think about what I think?
So we'll start here. We live in America, land of the free. So if we live in America, land of the free, it is my right to own one. Second Amendment, right? That's how it is. Now, do I own one? Don't tell people whether you do or you don't. The answer is always yes. You don't need anybody to come up into your house. Either way, if you own it or don't own it, the answer is yes. I own many guns, no matter what the truth is. Don't ever tell people you don't own a gun. He's going to show up at your house and take your stuff. Right? That's the American way. If you think about it, you're like, do you own a gun? No, I don't have one. Rob them. But if you say, yes, many, I have secret guns ready for an assault to come in. Right? You can't tell people you don't own a gun. America.
So the American way is to put up this facade to not let people know the truth and just make them believe that you have a gun, whether you do or you don't.
Whether you do or you don't. Like, you own a gun? Yes.
But do you support being able to have guns?
So yes. So most of my stances on everything, I support letting people do whatever they want. Like, that doesn't hurt anybody else. See, right? Like, there, we started crossing that line. But my stance is yes. It's like go own your guns, go get married to whoever you want to get married, go buy whatever drugs you want to buy, go do whatever you want. Like, I keep the same stance on freedom of choice. You get to choose whatever you want to do. Like, that's just me as a whole. Like, if it's one way, you choose it. Right? Now, freedom of choice, it's not freedom of consequences. So we're going to get to that point.
So what if I really like killing people? Like, what if I really like murdering people? Like, it's my choice, right? I get to choose whatever I want.
But that's
such a retarded argument, John.
How so? How do you figure? Like, where's the line? Like, how do you can own as many guns as you want? You can go and do whatever you want.
You can own guns. You cannot kill people.
Yeah, you can own guns.
It says who?
It says the law.
Who says the law?
So then, where's the law? Where is the law in terms of guns? Then there's no law in terms of guns. There's no
there
law
is a
in
law.
people.
Okay, this is the other argument that I think you're doing here that we're gonna get to, right? So you're saying, why do you want a gun if buying a gun is by definition killing people, right? Just buying the guns, right? Because guns kill people, right?
Not necessarily. No, the guns don't kill people. The people kill people.
Okay, so why being able to have a gun mean what you're saying?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that he's advocating for the freedom of choice. You have to choose whatever you want, as long as it
doesn't hurt anybody, right? So killing somebody that obviously hurts somebody. Right. That will be violating that little line. So that's why.
There's the line, right?
There's the line. That's the line.
The line is you can't hurt others, even with your drugs, right? So, like, you want to do all the drugs you want, that's fine. The second you cross and you now you're influencing others, you have now hurt others.
But me doing drugs is hurting my parents or hurting the people that I love. Then what?
But you're hurting yourself.
Yeah, but physically, but emotionally, it's hurting somebody else.
Yeah, but I think, I guess here, if we want to go, I don't want to get into the weeds, but we're talking about the law defines when you can hurt somebody or other, like in that moment, like immediate danger to somebody. If you are fucking your parents' lives up throughout many years of you being a piece of shit son, that's not protected within the law.
Get to zero.
I think it's not. I don't know. No, but I guess, okay, so.
No, what if I'm not hurting anybody. Well, okay, then, yeah, it falls back into the whole hurting people, hurting yourself. Hurting yourself doesn't matter. It's when whatever you do affects others, that's a problem, right?
Exactly. Your body, your choice. But you start hurting others, then now you have, because what happens is you have now impeded on somebody else's freedom. It's like, that's the line. Like, you're free, but you cannot stop the others. Just like, I guess we'll use freedom of speech, like, which is like, you can say whatever you want, but freedom of speech isn't freedom of consequences. You say something dumb to somebody, they can come back at you, right?
There we
go. I'll give you a real example. Like, freedom of speech, right? If you lie and you diminish someone else's character, then that's hold on, libel, or I'm trying to see which one's like the verbal.
I think slander, because libel.
Slander. There you go. Slander.
Yeah.
Then it's slander, and then slander you can get sued. You still had your initial freedom of speech, but then once you broke it by lying about somebody else, then it's slander and you get sued.
Because you are affecting somebody else.
Right, because now you impacted somebody else.
That's kind of what Johnny Depp sued Amber Heard for, right?
A lot. I don't know too much about it, but it's a lot. That was a lot.
Defamation of character.
I think everybody can agree that was a lot. Okay,
that was a lot. That was a lot. There was a lot there.
A lot of things to unpack. Okay.
But back to guns.
Yeah. So John, but clarify to us. So, are you against guns? Do you prefer if we lived in an America that people couldn't get guns?
No, I also like this illusion of freedom of choice as well. But the issue comes with, should everybody have a gun? Should the guy that freely chose to intoxicate himself with heroin and methamphetamine, should he have a gun? Like, should the person who's speaking to 3 different peoples in their mind, should he have a gun? Or she, or it, the person that it may be. I mean, there might be some conditions that would exclude somebody from having a gun, even if having a gun is a basic right and it makes you happy. And by me not allowing you to buy a gun, you are no longer happy. Like it's impeding on you becoming your fully 100% self. But you've demonstrated that you're unable to function correctly in society. Maybe you shouldn't have something that can lethally kill, X amount of people,
Okay, so are you saying that we should have a restriction on what type of guns you can get, or we should have a restriction on who can get said guns?
I think the issue isn't the type of gun, because even with a musket, you can still kill a person. Like,
but a musket, but isn't it a big factor, the kill per second? I mean, we play RTS games, we play video games. You look at us and we might look like the type of guy that goes to the beach and we pull all the hose, and we are, but we're also nerds. And when it comes to kill ratio, you don't have the same kill ratio with a musket than you have with an AK-47, and I think that does affect the type of horror that you can cause.
Not only kill ratio, but kill accuracy. Like, definitely, you might not even get the first shot, and then you got 2 minutes of reload time.
Exactly.
Like, it ain't gonna happen.
Because to me, I think, because this is the thing, you can kill people with a car, right? You can kill people with a bat, right? So at the end of the day, we cannot stop people killing people every once in a while, unfortunately, right? Because you can kill somebody even with your own hands,
right?
And this is hard for me because I'm a little bit towards how Tabo thinks, like libertarian, where like everybody should be allowed to do whatever they want. We shouldn't restrict on anybody's rights, or unless we're pretty much everybody should be free and nobody should infringe on that. But when you create a machine that has a high kill ratio, then this, I don't know if it's a socialist or civil part of me comes into play, where I'm like, fuck, I guess we do need to have the imperfect government to administer some sort of filter for the people that can obtain those automatic weapons. And it's hard because I don't have the answer. It's a dilemma within my head. That's why I do this podcast. But I feel like that's where the issue is, because if you have a revolver with 6 bullets, there's only so much that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason,
I'll let you finish, Kiko, and then.
No, that the recent shootings have been with automatic weapons, where they're able to kill many people because of the fact that they have such a high kill ratio weapon.
You keep using this word automatic weapon. I think you might be misconstrued. I don't believe just anybody in the United States is allowed to own an automatic weapon. I think only certain classifications of military personnel are allowed to have
there's states where
weapons.
There's states where with 18 years old you can buy an AK-47. That's an automatic rifle.
But they're specially suited to be only semi-automatic.
I got you. Okay. It is perfectly legal. I just Googled it just to make sure. you can 100% a law-abiding American citizen can legally own a machine gun.
Anywhere in the States?
Let me see.
In some states for sure.
It's in some states. So
Arkansas,
I'm just looking at the
Arkansas,
federal.
you can own a tank in Arkansas.
Right. So let's go with generally, you can own an automatic weapon.
And look, I know if
definitely in Texas.
Okay. If gun buffs that might listen to the podcast are like, you fucking retard, you don't even know what an automatic weapon is. Okay, let's not call it automatic weapon. I'm talking about the
machine gun. Let's call it machine gun.
Oh yeah, or like this rifle-y looking guns that shoot a lot of bullets very quickly. That's what I mean. Mm-hmm. And that you can have many rounds, almost unlimited for some time. That's what I mean. And like I said at the beginning, I do eventually think that there should be some sort of regulation. But then this is the thing, right? Whenever you talk about a regulation for certain guns, then the people that support guns say, yeah, but then if they regulate that, then they could continue to regulate more. And that argument is not fake either, because government tends to continue to regulate. So it's hard to find that middle point, right?
Well, I'll give you something. So as we're doing this, so you can't just own a machine gun. You have to have a form you fill out. Yeah, there's a form. There's a form you fill out. Yeah, there's a form. Yeah. You have to put things in. Like, it looks like you have to purchase the machine gun as an individual or through a trust. You got to wait 9 to 12 months to get approved on this form in order to do so. So you can't just. So the argument is like, you can buy it, but it's just gonna take a little bit. The question is, how are these like kids getting these things right away? So I'm gonna go to a different state. Y'all keep doing it. I'm gonna see if I can find a quick one.
You're also subject to yearly searches and by the TSA. No, not the TSA. The ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. I'm talking about in the United States. I don't know how it is in Spain. Yes, anybody can legally own a machine gun, but for a kid to get it, it wouldn't be a machine gun. It'd be a semi-automatic weapon. It's a high-capacity semi-automatic rifle.
Oh, John, just educate us.
Oh, fuck.
DJ BD, you got to educate us now.
We got our resident NRA fucking spokesman here.
Just because I don't like them doesn't mean I don't own them, bro. Come on.
Hey guys, I'm against them, but I do live in Miami-Dade. You feel me? So
shit. Only in Dade.
Only in Dade.
I carry that bit on me. Feel me? Hey, but
a semi-automatic weapon still, like, all it is just trigger. Like you could kill as fast as you can pull the trigger. So It's still like relatively faster than the revolver, even though the revolver you do have the ability to shoot as fast as you trigger.
Yeah, but you have 6 bullets, right?
6 bullets, and then you have to
well,
reload.
I have a follow-up question. Do you know how many bullets would be in the semi-automatic? Because it's perfectly legal. Yeah.
Depending on the magazine, typically it's 17, and it could be like 34. It could be more. Let's
be on the high end. 34.
There's that big ass drum that's like 100 round, 150 round capacity.
Yeah,
no, just a magazine, not a drum. That's too much. But like the magazine,
the 17 one, and then there's ones that are 34. Let's say it's 34.
Let's say 34, right? And then like let's say how heavy are the reloads?
How heavy? What do you mean? How heavy are the reloads?
Yeah, like if you had like a how fast
can you, like a whole magazine? How heavy?
How heavy is it to carry? And then like how quick can you like reload it?
I mean, they're really not that heavy. It would like if you practice it, you could probably reload in like 5 to 7 seconds.
So let's just shoot 10 seconds.
Let's say 10.
Let's say 10. Let's go on the high end there. So 10 seconds.
Because you're gonna be in a situation where you might be a little bit nervous.
Let's say it's high stress. Let's say it takes you 15 seconds.
15 seconds. Let's round up. Right? So you can 34, and then you have 15 seconds, and you can do another 34.
Basically.
Yeah. That's my problem.
I think that's the danger zone.
You can even just drop that weapon and have another one already ready.
Oh,
What's stopping you from doing that?
Shit.
Oh man,
This guy's
that's preparation.
Like-
That's preparation. So if you all right, fine, let's do it the quicker way. So 34, and you have 3 of them. Let's just say 3.
Okay,
You can do
now
30
we're starting to get heavy. Like,
Is 3 too much?
I would say 2. I'd say 2, and then have 2 magazines.
2
for
and
each.
2 and 2 reloads. Okay, 34. What's 34 times 4?
34 times 6.
68.
34 times 6. Oh, because you already have one in there. Okay.
Yeah, you have 1. 34 times 6. 204 rounds.
204. Okay, see that's the problem, right?
That's a problem.
That's the problem. Okay, now we found the problem. You cannot have 204 lives like at your disposal in that amount of time.
But that's also assuming that you're an A shot that every single round you're hitting. So let's say
Right.
Out of 34,
But let's cut that in half then.
20. Let's
Let's
say
say you miss half your shots.
Let's say you miss
So
half
you
your
have
shots.
100 lives
100 lives.
in seconds. Like how fast?
Let's say 5 minutes.
5 minutes. 5.
Let's
Oh,
say.
The whole ordeal.
that's the problem, right? That's too much power right there. So I think there's 2 categories at play. So we have the freedom, right? And then you also have to like earn your rankings. Like cuz like if you have like you buy your regular pistols, revolver, 6 in 5 minutes, whatever, man. I could kill people with a car in 5 minutes. Like I find a big group, drive my car, done. I don't need a gun. So like we don't care about pistols. So like the law right there is like we don't care about pistols. Own all the pistols you want.
Yeah,
I
because
mean, we care, but we agree to take that liability.
We take that risk on the pistol, right? It's like it is what it is. Like
the pistol
Things that
also
could
have, I
kill
think,
6 people at a
16,
time,
11,
we kind of
17.
decided that
we run the
that-
risk, right?
Yeah.
So then and then you take it up a notch, right? Like a shotgun, you have to like really punch. We don't care about shotguns. They're there for self-defense. They're for whatever. Like it's one of those like, again, self-defense. Go like sometimes you gotta take your cow out. Like it's like it's time for dinner.
Yeah, no. The shotgun is self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Shotgun's good. So like so look at that, right? Pistol, we don't care. Like we run the risk because you can kill someone with a car.
When we
Shotgun,
say we're talking about the Broski Duros.
yeah, we run the risk. Yeah, like,
I mean, it's
the
our
pistol's
opinion.
good. Shotgun's good.
Shotgun's perfect. I love
no
it.
problem. So like all these things that are like 6 people, whatever. So then we start getting. So what's a middle ground? Like what's a middle?
How many? Let's say how many rounds are in a pistol? Let's say like 10.
6 to 10.
Well, yeah, 6 to 10 if you have a...
Depending on the pistol.
Yeah,
Let's
if you
shoot the
have like
high
a
end,
9,
10.
a 9M has what, 9, 10 shots, 12?
So what if I get a bag and just bring like 15, 20 pistols or something like that?
15, 20 pistols.
You'll
But see,
be-
but
you'll-
but
you'll be
notice you're
Santa
gonna have to
Claus.
go
If you have a
slowly.
bag with a bunch of pistols, you'll be Santa Claus in the hood.
Yeah. But you have to do it slowly, right? You can't burst through. Someone's gonna stop you.
No, but you know what the problem is, John? You know what the problem is? That analogy, I mean, and I'm glad that you're trying to poke, because that's what we're doing.
Yeah, we try to poke the holes. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
good with
poking
it.
the hole. The thing is, it will be really hard to get like 12 pistols, because you're gonna like there's gonna be red flags. Like it's a lot easier just to get 1 or 2 rifles, and then you can kill a lot of people instead of
where the flags coming from. Like if we have the freedom to buy whatever we want, why should there be a flag?
Well,
If
there are
I'm buying
checks.
12
Aren't there
pistols,
checks?
or-
Aren't there checks? If you go to a place and you tell them,
mean,
okay, hey, you're gonna
if
buy
I'm-
one
if
here,
I'm-
buy one there, buy one there.
If I bought the first pistol and I liked it, I bought a second pistol, I liked it. I bought 2 more. I bought some from people that are sending them to me from like, oh, like I own a pistol, I could just sell it to you because there's no restriction as to
That's
like
that's
who you
another
buy it
debate
from.
all on its own.
Right.
Which some states allow that, like Florida.
I can see a person easily amassing 20 guns
I'm not,
and not being a problem.
But they're all pistols.
Even if they're all pistols, let's say, it could all be
But yeah,
pistols.
but that's the thing. Like, because even if you do a pistol, right? Like, because now you have one hand on each hand.
Which
so
by
you're
the
strong.
way is pretty gangster. Double
Right,
pistol.
you have to do a pistol, right?
yeah, the
You still
Kimbo,
have
right.
to pull the trigger every time, right? And like, have you ever like? All right, let me put this. Have you ever cleaned your bathroom and you had to like spray the Clorox wipe?
Mm-hmm.
That hurts after a while, right?
Yeah,
So,
it
like,
does.
And like now you're pulling pistols. Like your fingers are gonna hurt. You're not gonna be able to continue the massive amount of threat that you're
Yeah, we forget, like, this is not Neo. Like,
Right.
what you're talking about, the little cleaner, you start realizing really quick what a little bitch you are with a little muscle
Yes.
here. Doesn't work. You know what the fuck is happening? I'm
Exactly.
becoming an old man.
I think the Broski Noodles need a reality check, and we need to go to the shooting range and see what it is. It
Fine.
actually
How many
feels like.
times? How many can you shoot before your fingers start hurting? Right.
Yeah, exactly. But we don't know because you don't know because you haven't been shooting, but it isn't
Recently.
like that.
Recently, you don't know.
Ooh,
You
You know,
know.
I got plenty of guns in my house. Don't
That's
I?
right. You haven't been
Anybody
shooting recently. I mean, depending on the caliber, it makes it more difficult or easier to shoot. And some guns are really hard to shoot. Some other ones are you don't even feel it.
I want one that's very soft, that can almost just go off accidentally.
Like a hair, that's another thing. Hair triggers, like you can modify your guns to. Yeah, but we're going really deep.
You're going past it, right?
hole.
So let's say let's sit there. We'll take a bag of pistols. It's fine. It's still because the thing about it, right? With the semi-automatic, you can quickly and just move. So if someone's coming at you, do a quick little and still fire. Right, so if somebody's going to attack you, they can do it. With a pistol, right? If you have a group, like a large group, so if you're attacking a large group of people, right, you can only shoot so many people at a time, right? Mm-hmm. So the large group can eventually, some will get shot, but eventually they're going to get you.
Or it's a bigger chance. There's a lot more logistics involved with bringing a bag of pistols. I mean, let's keep it serious.
Bringing a bag of pistols versus the semi.
Even John Wick would have some,
somebody's gonna tackle you, and eventually they're gonna get you. And when they get you, just be prepared. Your teeth are coming out. And that's minimum. Your teeth are coming out.
Yeah, you're being squished.
Yeah.
No,
just be aware. Your teeth are. You just be prepared. You're not gonna have teeth no more.
You probably don't have a dick no more.
You might. So then you have that, but with the semis, you can. It's more crazy. So I say this right. So we have the level of risk that society for free, own your stuff, do your thing. After a certain point, you need to earn certain privileges to you want a semi, you got to prove that you ain't mentally crazy. That you ain't going to go to the movie theaters or a school and do these things. You got to earn it.
How do you prove that?
Well, we have to go this more in depth, but you can see criminal intent over time.
Mm-hmm.
Age. Okay. Age is one. Right? You have to be a certain age. At this point, if you want to own a semi-automatic, you got to be over 25 or over 30 or something like that. Or you were in the military and you were military trained.
Okay.
Right?
Would you say that's infringing in your freedoms, John?
No, you still got your pistols, you still got your shotguns all day. We don't take those away
all day. And you can get your bag of pistols.
Get your bag of pistols, whatever it is, what it is.
You know that pistols are also semi-automatic, right?
Yeah, whatever, man. You know what I mean when I say that.
But you understand? Okay. It's not about the semi-automaticness. It's about the number of deaths. Yeah, the number of deaths you can inflict.
Kill ratio for the gamers.
Yeah, for the kill ratio you can inflict.
So
we have a certain standard of we just expect to be a little bit of rat feces in the food, this is the standard, right?
This is the standard.
This is we understand. This is the level of stuff we get when we have these freedoms.
Now when they tell us no, it's 10% of the food that has rat feces. Now we're hey, let's see what the fuck is happening with these rats. Now there's a problem.
Right.
So we're sort of there with the guns.
Yeah.
So why is there rat feces in the food? What's going on?
That's a whole nother.
I think we lost it. So actually, let me bring you back to what the reason I'm even talking about this.
Uh-huh.
So the biggest concern everyone talks about it is the school shootings. We don't want that. Mm-hmm. We don't want our kids dying. That we don't want to go to a movie theater. We don't want to get shot up. So I have statistics. School shootings have been around since the 1900s. And when I say 1900s, I don't mean 1999. I mean 1901.
Like pre-Titanic?
Pre-Titanic. In the 1901, from 1900 to 1910, there were 12 school shootings, 11 deaths.
Okay.
And in 1910, 17 school shootings, 12 deaths. You can fact check me if you listen. You can go Google this.
You wanna share your
Share the
screen
screen
real quick?
All right, one sec. Let me share screen.
Can we interview any of the people that were involved with?
I think they're ancient now.
Are you a medium? Can you speak to the other?
To the other side.
All right. So do we see this right here in the highlighted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So right. So these are the school shootings. So people have always been crazy. My point is, people have been crazy. Back here, we didn't have any fancy weapons. I would say up until right about here. Like, I'm pretty sure it was this year, right here, this one, 1950 to 1960, post World War II era. Look at the numbers change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like 11, 12, 5, 6, 4, 12, 39, 26, 28, 76, 91, 101. This is where the guns changed. And I think right here, this is where the mentalities have changed.
Okay. So you're saying that on one end, you know, we still have crazy people, but at one point around 1950, 1960s, more powerful guns started being available. And then in the 80s and the 90s, a lot of the mental problems started developing in kids, you know, for various reasons. And all that together created like an atomic bomb.
And this is where we're at right now. So it's a shift. It's like we had an arms race shift we went from the pistols and the shotguns to the semi-automatics. So you saw an increase because you had more capability. And then we went to that mental crazy. So we went from like the 20s, like this, from 28 to 76. That's a jump. Because the weapons were the same. Like in the 80s, the weapons were the same. From the 80s to the 90s, the mentality changed. So there's something to consider. Like, you have to consider, like, this is a very, I guess I would say, complicated situation.
Yeah.
When you think at both pieces, you have like the power of the weapons, but you also have like the mentality shift. So when it comes back to like, this is layered. We need pieces in effect. Because I still believe that, I'm going to stop sharing now. We should have some freedoms. Like, if the government wants to come and do so, I need something to protect myself. So like my shotgun that's ready to go, like, you're not going to come in here and do things to me. Right? But I also, don't need semi-automatics wiping out like 17 kids in one shot. We don't need that either. So there's the balance, right? Like, how do we give you the freedoms? Like, pistols, shotguns, we're good to go. But you want fancier stuff, you got to prove that you're worthy of fancier stuff. Okay.
I think that makes sense. Would you agree with that, John, being you more on the left side?
I feel like, yeah, we could have all this gun conversation all day and every day, and limit the magazines. All right, so let's say we have the barrel rifles with only 3 bullets and stuff like that, and we start getting ridiculous with like the restrictions on the gun, and we fail to realize that the problem isn't the gun. The problem is the person behind the gun. Like, who's doing the shooting? Like, why is this person targeting school children? Why is he targeting children that are like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old? Like, those children had done nothing to that person to cause him to be in that situation that he's in. Like,
I mean, those lemonade stands are pretty annoying.
then target lemonade stands. Why target the fucking school?
No. But I agree with you. I think that's the long-term solution that we need to find. But I think that when me and Tab were speaking about with having the shotguns and the revolvers, I think that's for the short solution, or at least the short thing you can do, because you're still gonna have crazy kids that want to shoot up schools. But if they're not able to, if they need to do it with revolvers, then it's gonna make it so that less kids die. I mean, I think sometimes there's issues that are so fucked up that it's not a matter of, let's just make sure it doesn't happen again. No. Let's make sure it happens in less numbers, because this is the thing that we can, like the rat feces. It's impossible to have it not have any rat feces. We just want to make sure it stays very low.
The kill ratios are definitely gonna go down with those restrictions, but the kill ratio is still gonna be there,
Right, but then you move into the
kill ratio was there in the 1900s. That's the thing. Like, the kill ratio has always been there. Like 11. I mean, it's 11. Like, at one of the school shootings, I guess, didn't kill anybody. Because it was 12 school shootings, 11 deaths in the 1900s. That's the lower rat feces. That's the bare minimum.
as fucked up as it sounds, that's where we want to get to.
We want to get back
issue,
to
the issue isn't being addressed, which is why is there fucking rats in my food? You know, like why is there rat feces in my food?
Well, but the thing is, you are proposing a perfect world, an ideal world where everybody is nice and good. No, we are gonna. It's like, okay, cars. You know, you have a certain amount of car crashes that kill people every year, and we, if we wanted to, like, I mean, not if we wanted to, if we could, we would make it so that no crashes happen. But we don't have the power of doing that because life works that way. So do we ban all cars? So you get what I mean? Like, there's things that you cannot get, you know, like in math, those graphs that get to zero, very close to zero, but not right there, right? Like your credit card debt,
we just never
very
get
close
there.
to zero, but not everything.
We just never get there.
That's
something like that. Like, you're gonna have certain deaths. You're gonna have some people that drown in that fall in their shower and die, and you cannot, it's about 30 a year.
Ban showers.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's the point. Like, we want to find a solution. Like at this point, it's a numbers game. We want to get to zero on this one. Actually, there you go. We keep using our phrase. We want to get to zero on this one. But at this point, we need to start doing something, right? Like we need something to happen. I would say this is a step in the right direction. This isn't the final solution. This is us getting to where we need to get to.
The final solution will be something completely different, but yeah.
Right. The final solution is something different because if we look at the graph, right? So in the 1960s,
Mein Kampf.
Yeah. So like we want to get this. Like in the 1960s, technology changed. So you saw the increase in the numbers, right? Okay. But then something happened in the 80s and 90s that like saw like a huge jump in the numbers. So what we're doing is reducing the technology so the numbers decrease on their own because like you don't have the availability to shoot at a certain number, and then eventually we can tackle the second problem, which why are these crazies having guns, and like get that one down. So we have to do both. We just have to like, which one can we do quicker?
Well, the quicker one is the guns one, and then what, John? You think we should like? What would be your proposed solution for the mental health state of kids?
Oof. So, okay, that's a very layered question because we have to not
social programs.
Damn, we have to not consider like what's causing these kids to, because every case is different. Like every case is a different case. You can't compare. You can't make a profile like why is some people shooting a kid's school versus why some people shooting a high school, why somebody is targeting a shopping center, why versus why is somebody targeting their parents or something like that. You know, like it has to do with I think with education. It has to do with education on guns usage, not gun control, but like knowing what a gun is. And how it affects your day to day, and you know how like some people almost glorify guns and make it seem like it's like a fun thing because of I don't want to blame video games because it's really not the video games, but just this whole glorification of owning a gun makes. I
think it's crazy because you don't see this in Europe, and we have the guns, and I mean we have the movies and the video games. But I really wonder what it is that America has different. I mean, it could be that, because you could say like, oh, they have a history of having to defend themselves from the Brits, but like Europe had to do that too. So like, you look at things, it's really hard to know why it is that in the U.S. you have a gun culture, and why is it that these days you have so much more crazy people? Because back in the day, I feel. Like it seemed, I never lived in the 70s, but for some reason I feel like people were a lot more normal, you know. And then these days, a lot more kids are, you see them going crazy, shooting places. And it has to come from, could it be that they don't have a father figure that raises them and teaches them about, what being a man is when you feel insecure, how to deal with that. I think that has to do with it, but it's a large problem that has many factors and it's hard to solve it. But yeah, it's like a multi-solution problem where you have to attack it by many ways. One of them is, okay, let's restrict. You can get revolvers and shotguns, but the other stuff, you got to graduate to get that. In the schools, are we going to put security in school? Because, But
there should be. So there is a police, like remember in my high school there's actually a cop at the school. Like they have like security people, but they have a cop, like a school cop with a gun, in the schools. But I see this when you say multi-school, I'll give you another perspective. What if from here, all the school shootings, they don't get televised? Now, granted, this is gonna happen, but like no attention. Just stop the attention. Like there's nobody knows it happened. Like the people there know it happened, but it's not on the news anymore. Maybe the news is amplifying things. And granted, we got to know about it. But what if we just draw no attention?
Yeah.
What if it's not cool anymore?
I mean, unfortunately, what you're saying, which is ideal, is utopic. We cannot have it because obviously that would infringe in our own rights to be informed of things, right? But it is true that the media is a piece of shit, and they love to grab these type of situations and just horrify it and make it look like this is. I mean, and I'm not saying it's not a problem. Of course, it's a problem. But I think what you're getting to is that this might incentivize other crazy fuckers to do crazy shit so that they can also be in the news and shit.
Right, to get attention.
Yeah.
But then,
yeah. So sorry. Then they had this is why it's so layered. The other thing is, what is their punishment? Typically, like usually, doesn't the gunman just kill themselves most of the time?
Or they kill them. They kill him while trying to get him.
Right. So like the gunman is prepared to die, which is like the craziest thing, right? Because he's like, I'm not going to jail. I'm like, I'm gonna die. They're mentally there. So you can't. How do you stop someone like that, right? How do you stop someone that's prepared to die?
Well, you don't.
Like, how do you punish them? Like, you can't like.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only thing you could do is kill him so that he doesn't continue to.
Right, that's it. But like, so that there's no stopping because like
they want to die though. Like that's their end goal.
Right. So like so punishment for this type of crime is I don't know how to punish someone like this. Right? Like how do you make this how do you basically prevent someone from wanting to do this? I don't know, like on a scale of
like psychological scale, like because like the reason we have some laws is like you go to prison and you go to jail, whatever the case may be. But if you know you're going to die, you're like, I don't care, I'm gonna do. Yeah, like I guess the question is, how is it that we get to a point where we have so many people that are on that border, on that edge, where it's like, yeah, I'm ready to die to do this crazy act, you know? Because that is pretty much what's happening there. Like you're ready to die to do this crazy, insane shit. And we don't see this happen in other countries. Now, at least not in these numbers. There is a topic that we have to mention, which is the fact that the U.S. has about 330 million people. And there's not that many countries in the world with that amount of population. Nevertheless, it still is by far the one that has the most shootings, even if you do a comparison per capita, right? Meaning, even if you do a fair comparison percentage-wise, I'm not American, but the U.S. still, number one,
U.S. number one.
You had, KIKO, you had mentioned that part of the issue is that in Europe, you don't see it as much as you do in the United States. And you mentioned the whole having the father figure. Is that something that's prevalent in Europe, where the father figure and the mother figure are both present in most families? Like,
I don't have statistics. I'm gonna try to get them right now, but just by the feel of it, I do feel that in Spain you have a lot more of that family-oriented culture. Even in the very, like, even in the lower classes where people are more, like the poorer sections, you still have a lot of that community or family that makes it harder for those type of personalities to develop. The bad ones.
And Gus also mentioned the fact that not to televise most of these events because of the fact that it brings unwanted attention to the people that actually want to do it. They see that and they're like, well, I'm not getting the attention that I want from the people that I love in my family or in my circle of friends. So let me get it through the media, or through this venue. Maybe that's another thing. Like maybe what we're missing is love and attention from those that we cherish around us. Like particularly in the United States, you could be surrounded by people, but you could still feel alone, and that kind of has to do with how you interact with your family members around you and your families and your friends, and it kind of stems from that whole scenario. So whenever you see somebody, I'd say give them a hug, just give them a pat on the back, say I'm rooting for you and I hope you have a wonderful day,
Give them a Snickers.
That's true. I think
spreading the love and the joy and the family atmosphere, it's lacking a little bit sometimes.
Like if you're at school, I mean, of course, people that listen to us are normally, adult. But if it was like a little kid that was in 13, he would be like, fuck. Like what we would tell him is like, dude, man, if you're the cool kid, right? If you're not the one that gets bullied, whenever you see somebody, like if you know the bully somehow and he thinks you're cool, just like go out there and diffuse the situation. Make people feel cool that nobody talks to. Just go to him, be like, hey, what's good, man? You play with these Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Oh, that's pretty cool. Things like that. I make sure to always be cool with a weird kid at school because I was always weary. Like if this motherfucker goes crazy, I know that when he comes to me with his gun, he's be like, yo, you were always cool with me, and he would shoot the girl next to me. I was always a bitch.
Oh fuck.
No, but yeah, I think that's actually a good note to end, which is, I mean, yeah, we don't know the answer to this gun thing. I think the three of us agree that it's somewhere in the middle where you can have guns to defend yourself, but you don't need other type of guns that are so powerful that you can kill so many people so quickly, or at least there should be a graduation method of getting them. And on the mental side, on the mental factor, let's be nicer, let's be kinder to people. Like at the end of the day, I think a lot of people go out in the world with anger, with resentment, and they project that to the rest of the world. And I think most of us, even though to me I'm very cynical and I like to think the world is shit and filled with pieces of shit, a lot of the people in the world are good people that are also just want to live, and they're scared of life, and they just want to live. And if we all treat each other kinder every time, then maybe that's what really gonna get us forward and really slow down the killing that we're seeing in the schools in the United States, which unfortunately is a tragedy and a horrible situation for all those families. But hey, yeah, I think love will win. Very, very cliche, but seems to fit.
KIKO, I love you.
I love you guys too. And Broski Doodles.
I love you all.
I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Keep it real and keep it Gucci. Peace.